classroom projects, applying for the grants, and implementing these projects. All of you play an important role in enriching educational opportunities for Duluth students. Thank you for your dedication and support.
Thank you very much. I can't. Thank you very much. It's it's a great fun, I think, and I think when teachers take the time to write a proposal, and we get more than we can find, I think that's commendable. The one thing I'm unhappy about, and we've got to correct this, I think, and that is to get acknowledgments of this in the newspapers. So you can see these teachers, even the pictures look nice. We have
She's working on it right now.
Oh. I wonder why I said that. Yes. Well, anyway, thank you very much. It's been very nice. I do enjoy it. And incidentally, we don't put a lot of work into this. When it comes time to Mark Bogan sits down with some of our partners, goes through this thing. So we break it up in chunks. So it's not a great obligation, but I think a great result. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, thanks for all of that. Thanks. We know how much time
I don't see them.
Do a search on the top.
I'm there.
No, on the search bar actually.
Oh.
Design. So it's not going to be on there. So just do Duluth Public School. Then it will show up.
Okay. We have on that committee many retired teachers as well as community members, and I get to serve on there as a school board liaison, and it is really a great committee to be a part of and read the many innovative grants that our staff spend time applying for, and then seeing how the discussion goes about awarding them. And I do understand that there is a story that's going to be done on the grant, so we thank the D&T for that ahead of time. So, okay, so is there any audience signed up? Okay. Member Clerk Forum, would you read just the civility? I forgot to do that at the start of the meeting, but I still want to have that.
Yes, Chair. The 11 tools of civility. The school board recognizes 11 tools of civility that will provide increased opportunities for civil discourse in order to find positive resolutions to the issues that face our community. These tools include pay attention, listen, be inclusive, don't gossip, show respect, be agreeable, apologize, give constructive criticism, take responsibility, be honest and care for others, show your evidence, share your reasoning.
Thank you, Clerk Lauren, for reading that. The next item on our agenda then is communications, and there were none this month. So we'll move on to the report of the superintendent and the report from our student school board reps. Okay.
Thank you, Chair Lafayette. I'm not sure if it makes sense to say this or not, but the live feed is working, but the YouTube page isn't. So if you're watching it live and you know somebody that watches it on YouTube, let them know it's on live. Yes. All right, moving right along. As Chair Lofrick mentioned, I wanted to congratulate our graduates again as well. As a group, they earned over $8 million worth of scholarships, which is incredible. And I know that they're off all over the country doing amazing things. Whether they're going to college or joining the military or apprenticeships or any career path that they're wishing to follow, we wish them well on their continuation of their journey on the next steps, and congratulations to our representatives for becoming seniors. They will soon be making that walk themselves. So pretty exciting stuff. I remember it well, seems like yesterday. Anyway, summertime is upon us, and summer meals have started. Summer meals run from June 11th through August 23rd, except for the 4th of July, which is a holiday, of course, so we are closed. Breakfast is served from 8 o'clock till 10:30, and lunch begins at 11:30 and goes to 1 o'clock, and they're available at Myers-Wilkins, Piedmont, Laura MacArthur, Lincoln Park Middle School, Stowe Elementary, and then beginning June 17th, there will also be at Lowell Elementary. And so it is free to all students, and adults can join them for a small fee, and we welcome them to any site. You don't have to go to the site where you usually attend. You can go to any of the sites that are convenient to your home. This summer, as always, we encourage students to stay active. There's so many things to do in our community, so many community groups, so many parks to enjoy. In fact, our graduates got a book outlining the history of all of our parks in Duluth. Pretty incredible history behind that to read about the people that donated the land or started the parks. And I hope others get a chance to see that book as well. So we encourage everyone to get outside and perhaps take some classes, some swimming lessons, and of course to read and read and read. We know that research has shown time and time again that reading over the summer helps students to maintain their skills and to avoid that summer slip that can happen if we don't continue reading. So visit your libraries, go online, share books with your friends. There's lots of neighborhood libraries, little libraries that I've seen throughout our neighborhoods. So please make use of those and donate books, borrow books, and just spend as much time reading as you can. And other than that, I know that this is Grandma's Weekend, and many of our students and our staff are involved in different ways in volunteering. I know that they place grants for the runner's dinner, and I know we have lots of people volunteering at the water stations and helping to drive people, so we appreciate everyone's involvement in that, and we want everyone to be safe as all of the traffic events happen this weekend. And with that, I turn it over to the summer reports. Why don't we start with Representative Farrell?
There's not a lot going on at East High School, being that it's summer, but in the past month, we finished up the school year with finals and graduation. Also, the Duluth rowing team is about to start their season, so we wish them good luck. Again, there's not too much going on, but we wrapped up the year successfully with the completion of our finals and the completion of our second semester, and we celebrated the achievements of the Dental class of 2019 at graduation. I'd like to commend the class of 2019 for earning an immense amount of scholarship money and having to do amazing things. Another positive note, earlier this month, the boys baseball team finished first in our conference and they headed to state. It's a huge deal, and since school is finished, not much except some small sports have started captain's practices, and we're getting back into the swing of things.
Thank you for those reports, and I just wanted to comment that Denfeld going to baseball is the first time that has happened since 1954, which happens to be the year my parents graduated from Denfeld. That completes the superintendent report portion.
Well, thank you, Superintendent, and thank you, Vanessa and Emma. And I think some of you know that I also will have a senior next year. So I am excited for you, not excited for my daughter becoming a senior. But, and I do know from having a senior that students are, might not be in school doing a lot of things, but they are out in the community doing a lot of things with organizations, clubs, sports that they may be involved with, summer jobs, things like that. So find out a little bit about who they are and what they're doing when you're out there. Okay, we are gonna jump in then to, well, I wanna add that we all received the schedule of the upcoming meetings for July, and wanna remind people that we have the week of the 4th, there's no meeting scheduled at this time. Our education committee will be Monday, July 8th. HR committee will be Tuesday, July 9th. And then the business committee, Tuesday, July 10th. And then our regular school board meeting on July 16th. And then just a reminder that we have a special meeting on July 22nd where we'll be doing training with the Minnesota School Board Association on the superintendent search. So those are our upcoming member local with the education committee. That would be great.
Welcome team to the table. So thank you for coming. If I don't get some element of our committee reports last week, right, I'm sure you will, make note and help me out there. But thank you all for coming. Again, I just want to shout out to thank Mr. Schoen for coming today and giving up your time. It's really a pleasure to have you come and visit and highlight our teachers who have been awarded the Duluth Teachers Endowment Fund. So thank you for coming and being here, and I hope you enjoy your school board meeting. It's glad to show you where we times in my career to write a grant that was funded by the Duluth Teachers Endowment Fund. And it's a great opportunity for us to give those extra things to our students that they enjoy and that we enjoy creating. So welcome to the Education Committee report. This reflects the committee report that we had on Monday, June 10th. Again, just a shout out to, we welcome community members to our committee meetings. These are the meetings where we hear about school-specific issues, items. We hear curriculum updates, professional development opportunities and reviews. We hear about many programs, initiatives, safety updates, grants, donations, all great stuff that happen in our schools. So sometimes when our community school board members ask us what things we're doing in our district, I think that we find a great amount of things happening, things that happen to help our students graduate, the graduation rate. I think we offer things and we hear things at committee meetings that will allow us to close achievement gap. We hear about curriculum purchases for interventionists that will direct them in the math curriculum to help those students succeed. So I can't stress enough the importance of all of our community as we hear updates from our staff that are in the trenches, the principals, the teachers, the program directors. Those updates that we get that will cover all of the things that we feel are helping our students succeed at all levels. So please attend or watch on our YouTube or our live feed channel, our committee meetings. That's my shout out. So our first report last week was from Assistant Superintendent Jeff Horton, and this is what he shared with us. We have site celebrations. You've heard that from multiple people tonight. But here are the 7 sites, just in case. I think sometimes we think we only have 2 high schools, East and Denham. But we celebrated 7 graduations last week, and they were from AEO, ALC, our Adult Learning Center, our Academy Online, our Arrowhead Academy, our Chester Creek Academy, East, Denville, and Rockridge. We also heard from Assistant Superintendent about district leadership teams, that he goes out with them to schools and the sites they visited this past month for East High School and Home Top Elementary. These visits are crucial for building connections, relationships, and to really observe the staff in action. We heard updates on our good behavior games at our elementary sites, a program that is going to bring relationship building and good behavior, I would imagine, to our classrooms. We heard safety updates concerning the 2 grants that our district has for updating buildings, so they have updated safety measures, especially in our front entry updates and our front office training. And we also heard from Assistant Superintendent about another anonymous donor, and I believe that that was to help Myers-Wilkins for the remainder of their lunch tubes. Okay, another item, so portion, summary. Our next report was from our Director of Curriculum, Gail Netland. First, she reviewed professional development opportunities for this month and over the summer. I appreciate these updates, Director Netland, and I want our community to also pay attention to what is happening in the professional development area. We really are highlighting what our district is doing in the area of professional development, and I thank you for that. We had some conversation about other things we might do to highlight that amongst our board and in our community, so that our community knows that our teachers and our staff are consistently being trained. Curriculum director shared about the college preparatory math professional development that took place last week during the week we were meeting in our committees. And then there are 12 teachers currently starting today in a symposium for gifted and talented. I saw a Facebook post for one of my teacher colleagues saying, you know, what other nerds are spending the week at a gifted and talented. I won't reveal the name of my colleague, but she seemed delighted to be spending her time there. So thank you for those opportunities for our staff. Director Netland also updated the board on the district plan for August 27th. That's what we're working on, the welcome back for our school for all district staff. And our last element that Director Netland shared was that the elementary reading and math interventionist trainings are scheduled for the fall of 2019, and they're already getting ready to go with those materials and trainings. And then second, Director Netland highlighted what's happening in the area of curriculum. So that was professional development, and then here is curriculum. We've ordered elementary math intervention resources for the upcoming school year. This curriculum specifically would address areas that need reteaching, more activities for those students who after classroom lessons, work and testing still need more help. These materials are for use by our teachers and our interventionalists for continued work on specific skill sets needed by our students. We also got curriculum updates on extension and enrichment in E squared, and they're going to retreat. Okay, thank you. And the third draft of our science standards are released by the Department of Education, the Minnesota Department, and we're planning for summer curriculum work related to adoption cycles in art, music, and physical education. So it's recommended that these 2 reports from Assistant Superintendent Horton and Director of Curriculum Netland to be received as information. Next, we went on to grant applications, and there's 7 of them, and these are ones that were submitted for our approval for submission. So these grants that we are approving for submission, the grants have been written, and how the grant money will be used is clearly written in. We've got a Scott Anderson grant for the week-long camp that happens up at Scholastica. We have a Minnesota Department of Education School Safety Grant. We have a Rotary Club Harbortown Virtual Reality for Health and CPR and First Aid. We have a Northland Foundation grant to support prenatal through 3rd grade teamwork and transition and alignment. We have a Kiwanis Club grant for Stowe School's raised garden beds. We have a Boston Scientific and a Burnett Family Foundation. Both of these grants together are going to Laura MacArthur for robotics and for also culturally based after-school programming. Again, these grants are vital to the continued work our staff does with our students. So the ISD 709 and Duluth Police Department Community-Oriented Policing Services, Violence Prevention Programs is a grant partnership. So we have one grant partnership. We spent some time talking with Assistant Superintendent Horton about this cooperated grant the ISD 709 and the Duluth Police Department applied for and were awarded the 2018 Cops Stop School Violence Program grant in the amount of $500,000. The grant provides security upgrades at each school in the district. The city of Duluth serves as the fiscal host for that grant. It's recommended that these grants are given to us as informational. Then we went on to action items. Our action items, we received a presentation concerning Duluth's Head Start and the state grant application for 2019-2020. When we accept this education committee report, we'll also be accepting that state grant that was presented to us by the Head Start Director, Pam Reese, and it was the overview of the 2020 budget. We were also able as a board to recognize Pam Reese as she is retiring from our district after a long service of leadership in our Duluth Head Start. She is an incredible leader, and we were blessed to be able to, one, thank her for her leadership and her years of dedicated, exceptional, and unselfish service to our district. So it's recommended that the Duluth School Board approve the fiscal year 20 state Head Start grant. Next on our education committee, we looked at 2 policies. First, we were looking at the musical instrument policy. It's in its 2nd reading and revised with some input from us last month, and it was highlighted by Director Netlin. Policy 6120, musical instruments. We're renumbering this policy to 625 under education programs. It has a letter attached that's going to appear in the family and student staff handbook that will clearly lay out the rental fee increases for our school district. So it's recommended that the Duluth School Board accept and approve policy 625, musical instruments, for the 2nd reading. The next policy update we received was presented by Assistant Superintendent Jeff Horton and Principal Adrian Norman. He's the principal here at ALC and AEO. This is in its 1st reading, and it's a new policy. No, it's a updated policy. We're being asked to delete policy 6109, which is currently in our book, I think from the year 2004. So we need to update. A lot of things have happened with online learning. So we have the look at this new policy. It's modeled on an MSB8, but it has some specific nuances and language for us in our district. And that policy looks like it's going to be policy 624. It's called Online Learning Options. It's in its 1st reading, and we had a great presentation. We had a lot of questions, a lot of discussion. I think there might still be some questions or some, just some reflection on that policy, but they did spend a year and a half on it, but it's been a work by leaders in the online area of our district. And it's recommended that the Duluth School Board delete policy 6109, and that's its 1st reading. And another recommendation that the Duluth School Board approve policy 624, online learning options, for the 1st reading. Members of the board, we have the following action item. We have a resolution, and it's the acceptance of grants to award the Duluth Public Schools. So here's the resolution. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465, period 03, I don't know how to say those statutes. Any help with my colleagues would be great, I know. Requires a school district to accept grants by resolution expressed in the terms prescribed by the donor in full. And whereas acceptance of the grant in accordance with the donor's terms is in the best interest of the Duluth Public Schools, now therefore be it resolved that the Duluth Public Schools does accept the below described grants from said organizations in accordance with the terms set forth herein. Be it further resolved that the Duluth Public Schools wishes to extend its grateful appreciation to the following organizations. We have 7 of them. The Scott Anderson grant is there for that leadership. We have the 2 grants about Minnesota Department of Education and the school safety grants. We have 3 grants, all on the same topic, done by Tanya Jackson at Irving East, highlighting principles of science and math. We have the Rotary Club, where it's virtual reality to teach CPR and first aid online. That sounds really interesting. And those are the grants. So I move resolution E-6-19-3659.
Okay, moved by member Local, seconded by member Trinka. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much. You can continue. Member Local.
So next on our committee meeting agenda from last week was data sharing. So for the 2019-2020 school year, there are 6 of them. And I just want to highlight that these are partnerships that our district embraces that work specifically with building relationships with our students. They help lower achievement gap, increase graduation rates, and bring career readiness and college vision to students of the Duluth schools, especially at the middle school and high school. So it's important to recognize the need for their data requests. It's the YMCA, it's the St. Scholastica Trio Talent Search, it's the St. Scholastica Upward Bound, it's the Lutheran Social Services that work with our students, it's in Yes Duluth, and it's the YWCA Girls Power. Those are the 6 data sharing partners that we have, and I'm sure there'll be more. So I want to thank the above partners who work with our district staff and leadership to continue to serve our students. And then we have 59 high school graduates that we have applauded, we have celebrated, and I just want to give them a round of applause. We have 59 graduation diplomas to approve. Congratulations to them all for this milestone achievement. That concludes the Education Committee report, so I'd like to make a motion to approve this committee report.
Second.
Okay, thank you, member Local, seconded by member Gorham. Is there any discussion about any items on the Education Committee? Member Local? Okay. I just wanted to say one thing about one item, just so it gets out there, and it has to do with our musical instruments. And you gave a wonderful report on it. I just wanted to make sure it was heard that we do have a lot of students that, including my own children over the years, that rent instruments for our band and our orchestra programs and across the district. And just want to remind families in particular that fees for students qualifying for free and reduced lunch, that the students have lower prices for renting, and that we haven't raised the rental price since 2004, I think it was noted. So, and it's still very, very low for renting. So we appreciate our music directors really working to keep our instruments, very old instruments at times, in great shape, and allowing students and families to rent at a very low fee. So thank you for bringing that forward, but I wanted to just kind of add those comments. The Education Committee has been moved by member Local, seconded by member Gorham. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, the Education Committee is accepted. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, staff. Okay, we'll move on then to the HR Committee, and member Kirby, please.
Thank you. The HR committee met and a short meeting. Again, we reviewed the staffing report, which had a lot of names on it, mostly for Contract extensions. Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Swarsky, you want to mention about that? Any questions?
It just, the contract extensions are basically for some of the summer programs, not summer school, but curriculum writing. We do special services during the summer and various other activities. They are considered an extension of a teacher's school year. That's why they're contract extensions versus summer school.
Next week. Thank you. Next, we have two resolutions, which are essentially housekeeping duties every year. One for termination of certified non-tenured and one for tenured staff. Maybe you want to speak to that very briefly as well. People know what is going on.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind this year compared to other years, and normally I like to get this through all in 1 month. We did this over 2 months as we work through our staffing processes. The termination of certified non-tenured staff, in this case, the majority of those individuals are due to licensing issues that they were performing work under a variance, and the variances are only granted for 1 year. With the new tiered system, they call it out-of-field licenses, but it is essentially the same as what we used to call a variance. So under the termination for certified non-tenured staff, there was some staff reductions in social work and one in math.
Thank you. Thank you. I will read resolution HR 619. Deemed to be in a probational period of employment, during which period the school board may renew or not renew any teacher's annual contract as the school board shall see fit. The term teacher includes every person regularly employed as a principal or to give instruction in the classroom or to supervise classroom instruction or as a placement teacher and visiting teacher. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the school board of Independent School District number 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, as follows. Employment contracts of the following probationary teachers shall not be renewed, and their employment shall terminate at the end of the school day on June 7th, 2019, unless another date is indicated below, in which case the employment of the particular teacher shall terminate on that date. And there are 9 individuals listed there. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the school board shall notify such teachers in writing before July 1st, 2019 of the termination of their employment. HR 619 3652.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. It's seconded by Member Oswald. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of resolution HR 6193652, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, resolution passes. You can continue, Member Gorham, or Member Kirby.
Thank you. The second resolution is termination of certified tenured staff. Resolution HR 6193651. Whereas enrollment in the school district is declining, whereas during the 2019-20 school year, the district will lack a sufficient number of pupils to support all tenured teachers currently employed by the district. Whereas the school board has found it necessary to discontinue certain positions, now therefore be it resolved by the school board of Independent School District number 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, as follows. The board proposes that the employment of the following tenured teachers terminate at the end of the school day on June 7, 2019, unless another date is indicated below due to discontinuance of position or lack of pupils. And there are 2 names. Number 2, the clerk of the school board shall notify all such teachers in writing of the proposed layoff, grounds for the proposed layoff, and the right to request a hearing within 10 calendar days after receiving such notice.
Clerk shall also notify all such teachers that if they fail to request such a hearing within 10 days, they will be deemed to have acquiesced in the board's action. So I move resolution HR 6/193651.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second? Member Oswald, seconded it. Any further discussion? Member Trinka? Give me 1 minute here, so shut up if you like. They're blinking like casino. I would know it, but go ahead, Member Trinka.
Thank you. Just a quick clarification. I'm sure these I's were dotted and T's were crossed, but this all falls and is kosher underneath the teachers' union contracts, correct?
That is correct. I do want to say, under the tenured staff, one of the individuals was a retired teacher who came back to help us out in a jam under a variance. And with the new tiered system, the variances were pushed out 1 year. There is a possibility that he's pretty capable of filling some little gaps. And that could be a possibility again this next year. The other individual is reduced by 0.1 of a full-time position, so there's still a 0.9. Also, I wanted to mention, which I failed to do under the other resolution, that a number of those individuals are currently involved in interviews with the district that could potentially still be hired. However, they have to be notified if they're not being hired by January 1st, so we can't miss this opportunity. In the event they are rehired, we will simply rescind these terminations.
Thank you for that clarification. I think you meant to say July 1st, right? Not January 1st.
Oh, yeah, July 1st.
Okay, thank you.
It's been cold out though, so.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that clarification. Superintendent Grumson, did you have something to add?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Any other further discussion then on this resolution? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, resolution HR 6/193651 passes 760. Thank you. And Member Kirby, you can continue.
Thank you. There were no informational items, and our nepotism discussion was deferred for yet another month. So I move the adoption of the HR report.
Can I have a second? Second. Okay, seconded by Member Lofold. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the HR committee report, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the HR committee passes 6-0. Thank you. And now we'll move on to the business committee. And thank you, Member Trinka, for chairing this.
Thank you. I'm gonna move through this relatively quickly, although we will, because I'm confident the budget's gonna get pulled to discuss. And I'm just gonna put you on warning, Mr. Turner, I'm gonna ask you to do just a quick summary of the HOPS presentation. You don't have to go through the whole thing. But there's some really interesting stuff in there. So, and I'm still looking forward to that tour. So we had a brief discussion of the financial reports. I understand that once we get this budget passed, we're going to be having more robust conversations at future business committee meetings, which I'm certainly looking forward to, about finances and the budget moving forward. So nothing major there. Our pupil counts are relatively on target. So a big thanks to the finance team for not only keeping us up to date on the financials, but doing that all while under the pressure of budget season. Just a quick note, some great fundraisers happened. I really hope that it's not sixth graders at Orton East who are buying all that coffee. Because that would make for, we might have to give hazard pay to our teachers if that were the case. But just a thank you to all those who invest time, resources, and energy, maybe with some help from coffee, into raising funds for our district. There was discussion of the child nutrition student meal price increase, and just so folks know, we are having to slightly increase the price of student lunch meals for both elementary and secondary schools by 10 cents, and that's in accordance with the Health Hunger Free Kids Act of 2010. So a slight increase, and a big thank you to the donors, both named and unnamed, who help to cover balances throughout the course of the year for folks who are struggling to pay their bills for the meals that we're providing for students. There were no these are quotes. We did talk through contracts, so there were some changes to there's a new contract for a special education bathroom construction project at Lincoln Park Middle School. And then a couple of change orders, a couple that were in relation to the PSS track reconstruction, one that comes at a small savings to the district, and another one that comes at not savings to the district because of some unforeseen and incorrectly installed and curve. So looking forward to having that project wrapped up so that our community and our students can continue to use that great resource. So we're going to move into resolutions, and the first is the acceptance of donations. I guess I should say, going back to the contracts, that's where we'll add in the Skyward software contract, and that is, for those of you who remember, we discussed this more fully at last month's business committee meeting, but updating our financial software so that we're more in step with what other districts are doing across the state, and it's also going to streamline a lot of our processes. So it's an investment up front, but one that we think will pay off in the long run. So our first resolution is the acceptance of donations, and we had a very, very long list of 4 pages worth of donations. So I'll read resolution B-6-19-3653. Acceptance of donations to Duluth Public Schools. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 requires the school district to accept donations by resolution expressed in the terms prescribed by the donor involved, and whereas acceptance of the donations in accordance with the donor's terms is in the best interest of the Duluth Public Schools, now therefore be it resolved that the Duluth Public Schools does accept the below described donations from said organizations in accordance with the terms set forth herein. Be it further resolved that Duluth Public Schools wishes to extend its grateful appreciation to these various individuals and organizations. So with that, I move resolution B-6-19-3653 with my sincerest gratitude.
Okay, thank you. Moved by member Trinka, seconded by member Leopold. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Thank you so much. And member Trinka, you can continue.
Great. Next is resolution B-6-19-3654, authorized bank account planner. Resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that it hereby authorizes Barbara Switzer to be added as an authorized signer for East High School. So I move resolution B-6-19-3654.
Okay. Moved by member Trinka, seconded by member Leopold. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0, and that's B-6-19-3654. Go ahead, member Trinka.
Next, I move resolution B-6-19-3655, release and pledge of collateral. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that it hereby releases a $500,000 par value FNMA note, CUSIP number 87, pledged as collateral by Harbor Point Credit Union. Be it further resolved by the school board that it accepts the pledge collateral of $500,000 par value FNMA note maturing 2/26/2024, CUSIP number A0 in exchange for the released collateral note above. I move resolution B-6-19-3655.
Second. Okay, seconded by member Kirby. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor of resolution B-6-19-3655, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0.
Next, I'll move resolution B-6-19-3656, release and pledge of collateral. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 709, St. Louis County, Minnesota, that it hereby releases the $250,000 par value FHLB note, CUSIP number N27 pledge as collateral Lark Harbor Point Credit Union. Be it further resolved by the school board that it accepts the pledge collateral of a $250,000 par value FHLB note maturing 3/11/2022, CUSIP number blanks W78, in exchange for the release of collateral note above. I move resolution B-6-19-3656.
By member Trinka, seconded by all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries B-6-19-3656, 6-0. Member Trinka, go on.
And thank you for all the explanations around that. For those of us who don't live in that world, that was confusing. All right, here's Big Kahuna. Resolution B-6-19-3657, adoption of the fiscal year 2020 budget. Be it resolved by the school board of school district number 709, St. Louis County, state of Minnesota, that the fiscal year 2020 budget as presented to the school board be adopted. I move resolution B-6-19-3657.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, moved by member Trinka, seconded by member Gorham. Is there any discussion? Okay, member Trinka, and I'm just going to say something before I call on you. I just want to thank our staff, particularly Peggy and Kathy, for all of the work they did over the months to prepare our budget and prepare lots of discussion. We started as a board having discussions back in February. We had numerous committee of the whole meetings, as well as just last week, a committee of the whole meeting Thursday to ask questions and hear more about the process. And so just kind of want to thank you for that. And then member Trinka, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted and I just wanted to make a clarifying statement and make sure that I'm correct here. So when I was reading back through all of our emails and all of our questions, part of this is geared at some of the language the superintendent had in your report from last week. But I just really want to be clear that for the community that they understand that while some of the dollar amounts for comp ed might be going down, the percentage is still going up in accordance with the board resolution from last year. Is that correct?
Go ahead, Kathy.
Thank you. Yes, that is correct. We worked through the process of what the allocations were by site. We all know that the reduction of compensatory revenue, there was a loss of approximately $950,000. As we worked through that process, we then took that amount and did the 85% for the resolution and allocated those to the sites. So that reduction, looking at FY20, those sites, 85% will be going to the sites for spending.
Is there any other discussion? Did you have another comment or question, Member Trinka? Okay. I think many of us, just to be clear, have been a part of many committee of the whole meetings around this, and so appreciate all the background to our questions earlier. Member Trinka?
Yeah, I understand that. I just want to make sure that it's very clear for people who are, because it looks like there's a reduction in some sites, but the percentage is going up. So I just wanted to thank you for that, and thank you for working through with the equity tool and working with our CIT teams as well, as we put this budget together. And I appreciate your consideration for our desire to be soluble in the future and for bringing us a balanced budget. So thank you very much.
Any further discussion then on the budget? Okay, so it's been moved by Member Trinka. Do I have a second? Do we have a second already? I'm sorry, seconded by Member Gorham. All in favor of Resolution B6193657, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The adoption of the fiscal year 2020 budget has happened. Good job, board. Thank you so much. Member Trinka, you can continue.
I hope this means you guys are going to get a good night's sleep tonight. All right, next I'll move resolution B-6-19-3658, authorizing the sale of district-owned property adjacent to Hartley Park. Whereas the school district owns undeveloped property adjacent to Hartley Park, legally described as lots 1 through 11, block 1, lots 1 through 6, block 2, all of block 3, all in Hartley Hills Police Station, St. Louis County, Minnesota, as depicted on Exhibit A in this resolution. And whereas the school district has no current or anticipated use for the property, and whereas district administration has entered into discussions in closed sessions regarding the potential sale of the property, now therefore be it resolved that the school board of ISD 709 Duluth, Minnesota hereby authorizes the sale of the property, and be it further resolved, the school board authorizes district administration to negotiate a purchase agreement for the sale of the property adjacent to Hartley Park, and authorizes the school board chair to execute the purchase agreement and all other documents required for closing and to convey the property. And move resolution B-6-19-3658.
Okay, thank you, Member Trinka. Can I have a second, please? Okay, seconded by Member Lowful. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of resolution B-619-3658, sale of Hartley property, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Member Trinka. You can continue.
Informational items that were presented, expenditure contracts, extension or renewal of contracts, and no cost contracts and revenue contracts, so lots there. And then the ongoing facilities management and capital project status report. Thank you to all of the folks who are hard at work in our buildings while our students are not in them to keep them up to date and continue to get them ready for the upcoming school year, which I know we're hoping doesn't come too soon, but there's a lot of work that has to happen between now and then. And then we had a lot of discussion and presentation around the cost to upgrade historical Old Central High School. So speaking of generous donors, if there are any anonymous donors, I know I probably can't say that as an elected official. But I didn't know, Mr. Spooner, if there was, if you wanted to elaborate at all on any of those presentations or share some highlights.
Yes, Member Trinka, members of the board, I can certainly share some highlights. What I can talk about won't be as comprehensive as the presentation, but I think I can touch on some key items. And from my perspective, the biggest component or the biggest decision we have to make is what are we going to do? And that's related to Duluth Energy Systems conversion from steam to hot water. We do have a current 10-year agreement in which we have about 7.5 years left of steam being provided to this building. But once that expires, we'll have to have a system in place to either heat this building with steam on our own or have converted the building to hot water by that point. And converting to hot water means a substantial renovation of every floor, walls, ceilings. It's going to impact the entire building. So working backwards, I'd say we have to have a decision on what we're going to do, what we plan to do within probably 3 years from right now. And if we know in 3 years, that would give us 2 years to plan it and 2.5 years to build it. So So that's the critical piece in all this, is that we have to make up our minds within about 3 years, even though we have 7.5 years of steam being provided by Duluth Energy Systems. Now, the presentation that we had at last week's business committee meeting talked about the building enclosure, building systems, and interiors and accessibility. The building enclosure was conducted, the inspection survey was conducted by INSPEC, and they had initially been here in 2015, 2016, and done a limited inspection, and we brought them back to update the numbers and to do a little more further inspection. And the building enclosure is really critical. We don't want to do any work inside until we have a good building envelope. That's roof, walls, windows, doors, and any perimeter areas that water or elements can get into the building. And I think that number was kind of shocking for people to see, but for this building, we're constrained by being on the historic registry from numerous entities. So pretty much everything that we do will have to be reviewed by those entities and approved and done in a historic manner and preserved in a historic way in which is approved by those entities. So it's not just how we want to reconstruct the building, it's how it has to be reconstructed since it's on the registry. So if we do proceed and we do perform the construction on the building envelope, then we move to interiors and accessibility at the same time with building systems. And those were defined pretty well in the presentation by the design professionals. And the upgrades that we would do would not really want to change the building. It would just bring us to the point of having a building that would be good for 30 to 50 years. And that's what those costs represent. They don't represent converting this boardroom to offices, for example. It's the building as it is, the spaces as they are, converting to current air handling systems, converting to current code, current airflows, hot water heat, more efficiency, current life safety, current accessibility. But basically update the building to be used as is for the next 50 years. So I'm not sure what, or if you might have questions I can specifically answer, but that's kind of a quick summary of what we had last week as a presentation.
Thank you for that. If anyone is interested in all that it takes to upgrade a historic building, I would highly encourage you to go back and watch that YouTube video. It was interesting, and thanks to my colleagues for the great discussion around that.
Member Trinka, I have another question. Do you mind? That's okay. But I really appreciate you adding that it was a very thorough report. There was a lot of good discussion, a lot of good information for the public as well. Member Oswald?
Mr. Spooner, I seem to recall that the worth of this building alone is between $3 and $4 million, or $4 and $5 million. Do you recall yourself how much this building is worth?
No, I would have to get back to you on that.
I know that in documents I've seen, it's significantly less than what we're estimating the cost of repairs to be. And so I just want to make sure that that the whole board knows that number, so we can take that into account of when we're evaluating what we're spending our money on. So I'd appreciate you looking that up and letting us all know.
Member Oswald and members of the board, the value of this property probably would have quite a range. I think we could work with different firms to come up with a value of what other properties might have sold at to Duluth similar to this, so that it's something that we can get and provide.
Thank you, Mr. Spooner. And just, a reminder with this presentation, as we talked about last week, it was really our first presentation. We will be talking about this in many upcoming meetings as well. And I'm gonna have Member Trinka finish her report, and then if there's further discussion on this item, we'll pull it. So Member Trinka, if you could finish your report.
Sure. Let's see, so then just for future items, at the July meeting, we'll be talking about the adoption of the FY21 10-year capital facilities plan. So Mr. Spooner will be in the hot seat next month. Our review of grants and donations, any policy updates, although with folks being on the session. And then we'll continue to be doing education around the budget. So with that, I move the business committee report from June 11th.
Okay. Moved by Member Trinka. Is there a second? Seconded by Member Kirby. Any further discussion on any items? Okay. I just want to make one comment about item I, which was the legislative update. Just want to say we were fortunate to have our two lobbyists, opportunities for our staff and partnerships with other bodies that we had during the legislative session. So I really appreciated having that update in front of the board as well. And we'll be hearing, we did hear about different ways over the course of the summer that we can be engaged with our legislators as well. So I just wanted to comment on that. So the business committee was moved by Member Trinka, seconded by Member Kirby. Is there further discussion? One more time. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the business committee carries 6-0. Member Censor's not here, so it's 6-0. Yeah. Okay, so we are just moving right along, folks. Do we have any resolutions? I don't think we did. Okay, no special resolutions. Is there any other updates or comments from the board?
Motion to adjourn.
Did you know I was going to say something there? Okay, there's a motion to adjourn in a second, but I'm going to have just two items, if I may, please. Thank you. I just wanted to take this time to just note that Adele Whitefoot is our new education reporter for the Duluth News Tribune, and just wanted to acknowledge that, so make sure all the board members knew that, and congratulations on that. And then I just also wanted to thank my school board colleagues for attending so many of the end of the year events. I know we all put in a lot of time this month, and really appreciate the extras getting out there. And then the only other thing is staff, have a great summer. I know you will be working, but I'm hoping you all will take some vacation as well. And thank you for being here with us tonight as well. So thank you. Anything else? Okay, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries, and I am off on vacation tomorrow morning.